By December of 2026, the United States plans to implement a new unavoidable policy, the automatic military draft registration of every eligible male citizen between the ages of 18 and 26. Since 1980, when President Jimmy Carter reinstated the requirement, registering for the draft has strictly been an honor system. Young men were expected to voluntarily submit their own personal information, a process largely driven by the desire to qualify for state employment or federal financial aid. For over 4 decades, the legal and physical burden of putting a name on that list fell entirely on the individual citizen. When the government abandons a 40-year voluntary norm in favor of an automated federal mandate, it creates immediate public anxiety regarding a potential return to mobilization. That anxiety is compounded by the timing. The proposal for automatic registration was submitted just a month after a war began involving the U.S., Israel, and Iran. It is a highly volatile conflict, underscored by a recent, fragile 2-week ceasefire. When asked directly about the possibility of the draft returning amidst this tension, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt stated that the president keeps his options on the table. The convergence of a new automatic registration mandate and an active conflict in the Middle East has led many to conclude the U.S. is preparing to activate conscription. While the timing suggests a military pivot, the move toward automation is dropping, hitting 81% in 2024. For years, the government maintained numbers by linking registration to federal financial aid. That changed with the 2020 FAFSA Simplification Act, which explicitly removed draft registration as a requirement to get college aid. By severing that specific financial incentive, the government accidentally dismantled the primary leverage they used to ensure young men registered. The government is automating the registry to repair a database that its own policy changes helped hollow out. To repair that database, Congress included a new mandate within the National Defense Authorization Act. Under the old voluntary system, the legal risks were severe. Failing to register was considered a felony, carrying a fine of up to $250,000 or up to 5 years in prison. The new Selective Service proposal shifts that entire burden. The responsibility moves completely away from the individual citizen and lands squarely on the federal government. Instead of waiting for applications, the government will automate the process, gathering the data of every male citizen in that age bracket without requiring their active participation. In practice, this automation functions as a legal safeguard, preventing millions of young men from accidentally committing felonies through simple administrative oversight. It is crucial to distinguish between the administrative act of registering a population and the military act of conscripting them into active duty. Right now, based on current federal policy, there are no active plans to reinstate a military draft. Updating a federal database involves a different logistical mechanism than actively mobilizing an army, and recognizing that gap is critical to interpreting the current policy. Even so, this repaired and automated database exists within a volatile global landscape. The U.S. hasn't utilized active conscription since the end of the war in Vietnam in 1973. Yet the foundational apparatus to do so is now more robust than at any point in recent history. By removing the friction of voluntary compliance, the U.S. has ensured that if those geopolitical options on the table are ever exercised, the machinery of the draft is fully primed and ready for immediate activation.